All right, I gave an entire talk at WCICon on this subject. You can actually still get that talk if you're interested in it. It's part of our online course, which is called Continuing Financial Education 2020. It's in there. It's a great talk, I thought. I spent a lot of time researching it, and I go into where some of those numbers come from in detail, as well as providing citations. But if you just want the quick answer, the basic way is you start with how often people get sued. And that data is pretty easy to find. You know, what your likelihood of getting sued in a given year in your specialty is. In emergency medicine, it's about 8%. We're in the middle of the spectrum, right? General surgery and OB, neurosurgery, they're all above us. Pediatrics, family medicine, internal medicine, they're all below us, right? We're in the middle of the spectrum there. Then you look at the outcomes of those lawsuits. And when you look at that, what you will realize is the vast majority of lawsuits are dismissed or settled. Okay? Of those that aren't dismissed, most of them are settled. Very few lawsuits actually go to court. It's a pretty small number. It's single digits. If you get served with a lawsuit, the likelihood of you ever going to court is a single-digit percentage of that. Exactly what the percentage is, there's no really great data source for, but it's certainly in the single digits. And of those that go to court, 80% plus are won by the defendant. They're won by the doctor. Because generally, doctors get good advice from their attorneys. And if they're told, you're probably not going to win this, they settle them. They don't go to court. So of those that go to court and are lost, the average payout is about $800,000. The median payout is about half that. So about $400,000. So that's generally covered by a $1 million policy limit. But the truth is, the vast majority of above policy limit judgments, the vast majority of them are reduced on appeal to policy limits. And of those that are actually still above policy limits, most are only trivially above policy limits. A relatively small amount, a 5-figure amount, maybe a low 6-figure amount. So the most interesting paper on this subject came out of Texas. It's not in the medical literature. It's in the legal literature. It's called Policy Limits, Payouts, and Blood Money. I highly recommend you Google that title and read it. You'll probably find it reassuring. It covers Texas from a long period of time, from 1988 to 2005. It covers 28,000 doctors, 15,065 payouts. Okay. Of those 15,000, there were 77 out-of-pocket payments, meaning above policy limit payments. That works out to be about $30 per doc per year. Now, wouldn't that be great if you could just pay an extra $30 a year into some other insurance fund and know that any above policy limits judgment you ever get will be paid for out of that fund? That doesn't exist, but it's nice to know that that's all it would cost to do that. At any rate, of these 77 out-of-pocket payments, the median payment was $62,000. And only 19 of those 77 payments were for more than $250,000. So if you put all those numbers together with some reasonable assumptions, what it works out to be, for example, if you take 19 out of 15,065, that works out to be 0.13%. If you multiply my 8% chance of getting sued in any given year by 0.13%, it comes out to about 0.01%, or 1 in 10,000. And I'm practicing half-time, so I double that. 1 in 20,000, I figure, is my risk in any given year of being sued for above my policy limits successfully. It's not zero, but it does round there. So for those of you who are worried about above policy limits judgment, realize that it is possible, right? But the chances are pretty low, okay? Now, emergency medicine's mid-range, OB, neurosurgery would be higher, others would be lower, but that's about where you should probably expect your numbers in pediatric critical care. I would imagine you're around the same as emergency medicine to be, maybe 1 in 10,000 per year. I wish those numbers existed in some awesome, easy-to-access database we could all look at. That would be great, but it just doesn't exist. You should also be reassured by the fact that lawsuit numbers are going down throughout my career. From the time I came out of residency in 2006 until now, they have been falling almost every year. And that's why your malpractice premiums have become less expensive.